How are you thinking about branding your products and services? Are you positioning it premium, or what's your strategy there?
To me, like, it's connected all the way through to your business model and everything, because at the end of the day, brand is connected to customer experience, and customer experience is connected to the business model and the service model and how you're actually delivering that kind of an outcome. For me, early days of an agency, right? Like, you talk to everybody. And I think having a niche is really important. And a lot of the advice that you see online is like niche down, niche down, niche down. But taking that advice is like really challenging, to be honest. I have worked with clients from multiple different countries and providing lots of different services as well. So it is something that can be kind of difficult. But for me, very, very early days when I started, it was a lot based on who I knew and what they knew about me. And then together we would often reach some kind of agreement about what that service would be that I would provide. But a couple of weeks ago, I launched my subscription service for UX research. This for me was a real light bulb moment. Like, you had a design subscription, right? And I was really kind of interested and taken with this idea. And I started thinking about, if we could productize UX research, is it possible to get to like a unit of research that someone could buy? And I thought the answer to this was probably yes. And once you've got a product, it's actually not much more of a step to take it to a service, because you can create a subscription that is delivering that product every month. And so that was a lot of like the genesis around creating a UX research subscription, which I think is maybe the first one in the world. I did a bunch of research and I couldn't find another one. So that was like, I think, a real transformative moment for my business, is to actually put out a product and put like some pricing around it publicly as well, which agencies often never do. Like, you've got to speak to a human before you even get directionally what kind of price point we're talking about. The last comment I want to make on like positioning and client agency fit is procurement. Procurement can take months to get through. So if you set your heart on working with enterprise level organizations that have strict procurement processes, you've got to have runway available, because it can take a really, really long time to get through procurement. So I think that's also something folks need to really think about.
Are you following the footsteps of other design agencies where someone can literally come to your website and purchase a package and they're off to the races? Or are you doing something slightly different?
I think probably slightly different. So in my research on like design subscriptions, I only really found one where you could literally press like purchase and it took you straight to Stripe, and then like you were going. Every other site I looked at, the call to action was book a call. And so I've definitely gone down that road, because I think as much as the productized version of UX research exists, it is different to productized UI and graphic design, because UX research has this input being like recruitment. And different companies are going to have different methods of this. And you either are going to have to agree on how you're going to get those folks using like a recruitment agency, or maybe the client already has a participant pool. But that's often a really large like input into the cost. With these design subscription services, there can be a little bit more standardization. Like, if you want access to 50% of a senior designer, it kind of doesn't matter if you're a startup, you're a scale up, you're Google, like all's fair. Whereas if you're like B2B healthcare decision maker SaaS versus mass market B2C fintech, that's an incredibly different ballgame. And if you're like a really mature research ops to the nines kind of organization who can help with recruitment versus like scrappy startup, again, like a totally different vibe. So I think there are some structural things that make a UX research subscription different, but the rest of it, in terms of like the resources from Rex to like services subscription, that actually can be standardized within some parameters.
How do you price such a product? Remember, there's a whole array of businesses that could benefit from mom and pop shops to larger, more mature organizations, incumbents, what have you.
I think pricing is the hardest thing for everybody. Everyone I speak to, no matter your business, everyone struggles with pricing. It's so hard. I think there are like two main ways that someone can think about pricing. The first one is input-based pricing. What are the inputs into this? The raw resources at a margin, and there's your price. So for those of us in a service-based business, our inputs are usually our own time, maybe some subscription services, and for UX research, maybe recruitment costs. So you could add up how many hours you think it would take, add on some of this stuff, put on a margin. That's how you would price it. The other option is value-based pricing. So value-based pricing is saying, I think someone is willing to pay this much for this product because they value it at this price point, and that's how much I'm going to sell it for. And generally, I would really encourage people to think about value-based pricing rather than this kind of input-based pricing, because that's what we should aim to do. particularly when you're really good at what you do it fast. And so if you're only pricing based on how long it's going to take you to do something, you can often really be selling yourself short. And I think, again, maybe that goes back to that consultant versus freelancer. Like, I think consultants really don't shy away from doing that value-based pricing and having those kind of conversations with clients. Whereas I think freelancers tend a lot more to sell their time and come in and say, like, I'm going to work for you for like 3 days a week on this project. I think that's really important, is to kind of think about the value. So for me, like, don't want to give away like my proprietary algorithm about how I do all my pricing. I definitely think about it in terms of those things, and can't on my website have like, this is the one price for everybody. But I wanted to put like an indicative number to start with, so people knew at least like ballpark, it's going to be around here. Some companies will be more, some will be just that.
Exactly, because you can always sign someone to that deal and have a number of offerings around that if they needed it, because a lot of people might need it and don't have these resources or expertise that you have. So they'll just be like, hey, Ruby, can you help me with this? And you're like, sure, just slap a number on that and it can pay you. Anyway, that's what I do. So the right way, actually. Guys, don't listen to my advice. There is interesting question. Curious about how you're pitching this and anything like stuff around business development. So I guess it's kind of pitching, business development, sales. Any tips around what you're doing at the moment?
I actually kind of love sales. And I think a lot of UX researchers in particular are really well placed to be excellent at sales. If you read a lot of the advice about being a really good salesperson, let the other person like say what they want, don't fill in the gaps, like don't go straight to solutions. It's design, guys. Generally, I find the sales conversation, like once you get face to face with a client, that's kind of when I'm happiest, because, or a potential client, right? Like then you get to really talk to them about what they want and what they need. And in the best cases, essentially co-create the offer with them, giving them space to share all about like what's going on for them and how they see like can end up working really super well. So I think approach it like a design challenge, like being with this person in this moment, and that mindset shift just might help unlock some things for you.
When I've tried to do it in the past, sales it has been like, oh, I have a solution for you, and I typically jump there. So I like what you said about you're still a designer, approach it like a design problem, and that co-creation sounds super interesting. How do you think about...
Want to listen to the full conversation? Click the video on screen now. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join us live. Oh, wait. Okay, fine, you don't have to join us for the live stream, but if you like stuff like this, then click that subscribe button. I'll see you on the inside. Bye!